Right, done? Oh. Sorry?
Do you men actually live here?
I do, yes.
Oh, right, okay. I'm from the 2011 census. My name's Marion Young, and the National Statistics Office, it indicates at the moment they haven't scanned a census return.
Yeah, I'm not filling in the census. I
Aren't
think it's an invasion of privacy.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the questions on there go far beyond what should be required for the national statistics.
Yeah, okay.
And it's basically an invasion of privacy, and the fact that the whole census has been contracted, the controversial Lockheed Martin contract, you know.
I know what you were saying, and I know you're not having a go at me.
No, certainly not. It's just very scary to think that an American company are going to be handling all our data.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that anyone in the world at the minute is responsible for handling data.
There are a lot of people who've said much the same, but because of the job I'm doing, I have to point out to you what the purpose of it is. I mean, it's obviously for things like if you go to hospital to ensure that the correct services are there. It's about numbers of the population. Oh,
yeah, exactly. But if they was asking purely just statistical questions, i.e. name, address, age, UK resident all your life, and I can't really think of any more plausible questions that should be on a you know, census.
Have you actually got the form?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm to encourage you to complete it. I can hear what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I certainly won't be completing it. Not against anything against you or anything like that, but just purely for the reasons I've set out just now.
Okay.
And obviously, if I'm one of the unfortunate ones that gets taken to court, then I'll challenge it all the way, even if I have to take it to the European court. I think it's an invasion of privacy and it's a breach of human rights.
Okay. And obviously, from what you're saying, you're aware that they're fining people £1,000.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if it's a choice of giving my details to Lockheed Martin, and more than the details that I'd ever want to give to my own government, let alone an American company, or pay a £1,000 fine, I think £1,000 is a small price to pay. Yeah. And I'll pay the fine. I mean, I'll challenge the fine, but if it comes to the point where I have to pay it, I think £1,000 is a small price to pay than the sacrifices they're asking you to make on the phone.
You'll probably be aware that obviously after, I mean, I'm just collecting any census records that haven't been completed. We're advising people to complete it because obviously it is a criminal offence.
It's not a criminal offence. I certainly didn't adhere to any law, or I don't know of any law that requires me to supply my personal details to any American company. And I will challenge that in court. Like I say, we'll start at the magistrates, then we'll proceed to the Crown, then we'll go to the High Court, and eventually if we have to take it to Europe, then we'll take it to Europe, because I'm sure the people like the Swiss and the French and the Swedish, I'm sure they're all not giving their details to an American arms company, and I certainly don't see that.
I'm not arguing with you, I'm just pointing out something. Are you aware that the actual information, your data, is actually confidential for 100 years? I mean, I do family history. I can't even access the census of 1911 yet.
Well, I know that's not the point. There isn't.
It's about numbers.
You can't actually demonstrate one company of recent years, or of any point in history. You can't mention one organisation or company that hasn't been held responsible for losing confidential data from MPs leaving briefcases on the train to you know, the guy from WikiLeaks getting prosecuted. There's no data is confidential. No data is confidential.
Okay, but it is purely the numbers they require, because
if that's all they ask, if the census was what's your name, address, date of birth, been a UK resident all your life, possibly have you got any dependents, and do you work or are you unemployed?
And about how many live here, so that we can provide the right housing, you know, medical...
What does that mean though, provide the right housing?
Well, what it is at the last census, I don't know whether you're aware, but Southend Borough Council dipped out millions of pounds because census records weren't completed.
But Southend Council are as corrupt as everyone else. They're one of the... They are. Listen, my motorbike fell over 14 months ago down the seafront. I parked in a parking bay and the sun melted the tarmac. Not Southend Council's fault.
Don't tell me.
And my bike fell over and it smashed, and it cost about £1,200 to repair. Do you think I've ever had a penny out of Southend Council? No. Not at all.
No.
I've got letters from the council threatening me because people have been parking on the verges. They threatened me with a £20,000 fine until I supplied them with evidence of their own council bin lorries parking on the verges and things like that. It's just a money machine like any other, unfortunately.
How am I going to leave it with you then? Because my
Quite
job
clearly
is to
mark it on your record that I will not be filling it in,
So
even if it means
and I know you're not being abusive to
No,
me.
no, not at all, no.
I mean, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I've pointed out exactly the reasons why it's been completed.
Yeah.
But do you want to disclose your name to me, or shall I just leave it
No, I
that
mean,
you're the occupant?
Yeah, I'm the occupant, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
But what will happen at a subsequent date is you will appear on the list, and obviously someone will call and they will consider whether or not it's
But
a criminal offence.
there's no point for anyone else to call. You might as well mark that on the system. If anyone thinks there's a criminal offence been committed, then send a summons,
It is
and I'll
required
attend court
by law.
and put my defence then.
It is required by law to be completed.
No, it's said that it's required by law,
Yeah.
but there isn't any law that states that it has to.
It is. It's like last century. It's every 10 years. It's actually the first census was conducted. The first written one was conducted in 1841. So you can see how old the census act is.
Oh no, you know, for national statistics, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
And I'd be the first to fill it out if the form was being sent back to Southend Council or you know any other British organisation.
Yeah.
Certainly not any arms companies, and certainly not any foreign arms companies. And if it wasn't asking so many privacy invading questions.
I know what you're saying, but I hear exactly what you're saying, and obviously other people are saying the same.
Exactly the same,
much along the same lines. But it's asking details about health and all that.
Put it this way,
So,
I think the amount of people that boycott this census, if they fine all of us £1,000, then we'll probably have enough to restore the economy. Because I think there'll be a record amount of people that boycott the census.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But can I ask you to think about it though? I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know what I'll say.
I know.
No, I know. So,
okay.
Thanks for stopping by.
I've called and I'll have to mark the records that you're telling me you're absolutely refusing.
Yeah.
Okay, I will mark the records accordingly, and I'll have to record, obviously, much of the conversation that I've had with you and your reasons.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
you're 174.
174, right? Yeah.
Thank
All right,
you.
lovely.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. It's a lovely day for it anyway, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Take care.
Go on then, Toby. Come on.